So let's go to the Goob. Oh, Gooby. Goob, what's up, man?
What's up, Danny?
How's it going?
So, horrible fucking week.
Yeah.
Really, really insane shit here. And I made a stream yesterday addressing what can actually be done to avoid both a civil war and a full leftist tyrannical takeover. So I would encourage people to go to my channel, The Goob, and check it out. If you are full of rage but not sure what to do, I give you the prescription.
Can we get a little TLDR here?
Yeah. So, it's obviously more nuanced than this, but get off the internet, get into the real world and confront these demons anywhere and everywhere you see them. And specifically, we need to eliminate the tranny menace. I think that people severely underestimate the power that a tranny merely walking down the streets has. Their mere existence is a physical embodiment and human manifestation of the left. And so the fact that they can walk the streets, and everyone knows that they're unhinged, violent lunatics, and so people avert their gaze so that they don't get physically attacked by these,
I mean, I'll say
freaks.
this: I'm nowhere near as scared of
and say, yes, you are a woman, because they don't want to get physically assaulted. And if you can get the population to go along with the lie that men can be women, you can achieve absolutely anything. And it is this massive power dynamic, show of power, to just have trannies, unhinged trannies, walking the streets and forcing people to cower to them. And so these trannies, they have to be absolutely eradicated from our society. And it's quite simple to do, because they will get physically violent with you at a mere glance. If you simply look at them wrong, they are all
Do you know any
unhinged,
transgender
dangerous,
people?
violent lunatics.
I mean, I don't know a
Yes,
ton.
I've been assaulted by them, dude.
Really?
I've been attacked by them.
What were you wearing?
The dudes in dresses will flip out and attack you at anything. Like, call them a dude. They're swinging.
Yeah.
So confront these trannies, confront them in public, and then when they turn violent on you, put them in the fucking ground.
Yeah, I mean, you started this off as like, I might be paraphrasing here. I might be interpreting incorrectly. Seems like you wanted to turn the temperature down a little bit, but you actually want to crank it way up. Doesn't sound like you want.
No. So there's a very, again, nuance, right? It can't really
that was
fit
not
into
a nuance take
call.
you just gave.
Right.
You can have more than 5 minutes.
The nuance is in the video on my channel.
Okay.
The nuance is in the video on my channel. Okay. I can't really fit the nuance into a 5-minute take, right?
You can have a few more minutes than 5 minutes.
It's a bit of both. It's turning the temperature up and turning the temperature down. I'm genuinely not calling for people to go out into the streets and like be violent or anything like that, but I absolutely am calling for people to be out in the streets and, be waving your American flags and your MAGA hats and whatever else. Make yourself visible. Make, the left know that there is a significant, like there's people that obviously disagree. We have to be more present and more visible and more public. And these people cannot be allowed to feel comfortable just espousing the most vile, evil shit everywhere they go. Like, how many times have you been in a gas station and you just like overhear someone saying like, man, can't wait till they off Trump, or just some insane evil shit, right? And they feel comfortable expressing these views absolutely everywhere. And they just like automatically assume that everyone will agree with them. And again, this all comes down to the power of the tranny walking the streets. Because again, if you can get society to go along with such an insane lie as we have to call men women, and we are not allowed to confront these people ever, or, ever disagree with them, like, you can get them to do anything. It's a very, very powerful force. And that is why the left has so adamantly pushed the tranny issue. It's been their key issue that they've fought the hardest for, because if they can force that upon the society, they can force anything upon the society.
That's a good
incredibly
point.
Demoralizing to people who want to adhere to the truth. It's incredibly demoralizing to see over and over again these tranny menaces, attacking people on the streets completely without repercussion, and not only without repercussion for them, but often with repercussions for the person that they attacked. And so this is what their core has been. They are the physical embodiment of the left. Every time you see one, you instantly are forced to recognize the control that the left has had over our population through these power dynamics. And so to take that back, we have to be present and public in the streets. We have to be loud and proud. We have to confront these demons, not
loud
debate them,
proud. That's
not argue
gay.
with them. Yeah, that's fine. Not debate them, not argue with them, but humiliate them, laugh at them, ridicule them, and destroy them when they become violent. When they become violent, be ready for it and meet them with more brutal violence.
So we just need to go back to the early 2000s, essentially. Well, what about right-wing transgenders?
Great again.
Yeah, I agree. What about right-wing transgenders?
Make bullying great again, make America great again.
Yeah, what about
they cannot be allowed either. Like Blair White, fuck her, sorry.
Blair White,
now,
Caitlyn Jenner.
Fuck him, sorry, whatever. There is, an element where it's like, if you can actually walk down the street and no one knows you're a transgender, then no one knows, so you're not going to be confronted.
Yeah, like nobody's confronting unless they personally
know
Blair White or know Blair White from the internet. Nobody walks. I've met Blair White. No, you would not think that that's a man in any scenario.
So that there is like, well, I guess you don't get confronted because no one even knows.
So I like this law. You have to pass, which that also solves the bathroom issue, like the whole trans bathroom issue. If they're just like, look, if you pass, you can use the bathroom because nobody knows. You just have to pass, right? And then you're like, you don't even know. But it's these non-passing ones who seem to be the most dangerous generally. Yeah, I mean, I will say
they are. Yes, the uglier they are, the uglier, more disgusting they are. I'm sure you've seen these people. It's literally a dude with fucking stubble. They're disheveled. They've got some shitty wig on their head that's lopsided. You know what I'm saying? They're wearing a fucking dress. Those are the ones that are the most unhinged, and those are the ones that are immediately going to turn to violence if you even like make eye contact with them. And those are the ones that need to be dealt with first. Because the uglier, the more of a pure representation of the left they become, as the more ridiculous and hideous of a freak they become. So that needs to be addressed. That needs to be removed. We need to take back the power dynamics in this country. We need to have a country where people are comfortable walking in to, gas stations and loudly just having conversations about like eliminating the tranny menace rather than assassinating Trump, right? That is, we've allowed things to get so bad because we've allowed the tranny menace. It's not the exclusive sole thing, but there is a reason why the left has pushed this so adamantly. It's because it sends what do you think affects a normie more? Listening to Don Lemon on CNN or seeing a meme on Facebook? Or do you think it's that when they're on their walk home from work, they physically have to avert their gaze from the tranny and apologize and say, yeah, sorry, you're a woman, because they know if they don't, they'll get physically assaulted. And to also know that all of the people on the street will stand around and watch as they get physically assaulted or even come to the aid of the tranny. That is where we're at now in society, and that has a far greater effect than any of this bullshit on TV or online. Those things can be powerful. Those things can change minds. But, it's like the leftist who is an adamant leftist until they get jumped and raped by a pack of, whatevers, and then they become a hard right winger.
Sure.
It's like these real life experiences are far more impactful. And the tranny, again, is the physical embodiment. They are a human representation of the left, and they are the left's warriors because they are the most unhinged. They are the most violent, and they encourage that, and they need that because it's all about domination and control and power dynamics. And we have to take that back by being public, by being present, by not giving a shit. When they call you racist, when they call you Nazi, you cannot flinch. You cannot care. We cannot keep giving power to these words. They call you a racist Nazi. Sieg Heil, nigger. This is a fucking war. They want you dead. Back in COVID, right? 5 years ago, 70% of Democrats thought that the unvaccinated deserved to die. 5 years ago, 70% of Democrats wanted you dead. It does seem high. Do you think it's gotten better since then?
I will say this.
BLM, when the country burned and they were murdering people in the name of George Floyd.
Sure.
Do you think it's gotten better than then? The fucking blacks, the Muslims, the Jews, every liberal, it is not a fringe minority of these groups that want you and your children raped and murdered. and to dance on your graves. It is a fringe minority in all of those groups that don't want that. These people want you dead. They understand that victory is the only thing that matters. History is written by the victors, and the good guys always win, right? Yeah. And so they do not care what methods or means, by any means necessary, they are going for victory. They've understood that they've been at war for a very long time. Go listen to Destiny. Go listen to Hassan. They're literally calling for more assassinations, for open violence in the streets, for open attacks, and have been for years now. You know, we have to take back those power dynamics. We have to understand that we are at war, and if we do not fight, we will die. And there will never, ever, ever be a more galvanizing moment than Charlie Kirk's death. Even Donald Trump himself being assassinated would not have been this galvanizing and would not have sent this message to wake people up, because people don't identify and see themselves as Trump. They do as Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was all of us. We are all Charlie Kirk. His opinions were so milquetoast. I don't know about you guys, but I'm certainly a hell of a lot more radical than Charlie, and they wanted him dead, and they're dancing, and you know, they're demanding the deaths of his children and wife as well. Yeah. Make no mistake, there is no way to put your head down and just slip by all of this. They want each and every one of you dead. You might even be sitting there going, I'm not political. It doesn't matter. They want you dead. Do you remember the kid who went to the Braves game or whatever it was, had the red and black face paint, right? Yeah. And they took a picture of just the right side of his face. They wanted that 9-year-old fucking kid dead.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to argue with it. I will say, though, I don't know where you live, like what it's like where you are, but like when I walk around the street, it is not the transgenders who are the ones who are fucking assaulting people. That is just...
Who is it? The blacks, I guess?
It's generally the crazies. It seems to be disproportionately black people, but it's the crazies. But it's definitely not here. Again, I don't know if this is a New York thing. I can't cast that. But I've never had a scenario where I was like, oh, no, I can't look at this transgender person. Because I'm worried.
I have.
Oh, yeah. I don't get that. But again, yeah. I do agree. I do agree with many of your.
And I've been attacked by them.
Yeah, I do agree with many of your points. So fair enough. All right, Goob. Well, everybody go check out Goob's channel. I got to get to more callers.
But audio sucks for some reason, but check it out anyways.
That's my life, pal. Goob, everybody.
I want to recap a few things, right? A few very basic ideas, fundamental truths that can't be denied. So over the last 20 years, the left has continually gotten more ridiculous, more extreme, more insane, more violent, right? Yep. And as a direct correlation of that, they have also gained more institutional power and more influence over our culture and our society.
Big time.
Right? Because they have controlled the power dynamics, right? And the left is not magically going to get better. You were 100% right last week when you were talking about the potential for bombs in neighborhoods. Like we are so much closer to that than anyone wants to accept. The left will get worse unless they are stopped. Second point is that the government will not save you. Big Daddy government is not going to swoop in and fix everything and make it all right. Anyone who believes that is legitimately more retarded and more delusional than anyone on the left who thinks Charlie deserved to die because he was a Nazi, right? So we also live in a free society. And I mean, you can debate that, but that's a separate conversation. We live in a free society. For the most part.
Which, right, as free as anybody
definitionally, is. Yes. That's a separate conversation, like I said. But definitionally and practically, a free society very literally cannot exist without bullying freaks, right? Free means that the government does not police the culture. Like North Korea, you can choose from one of 18 haircuts. That's the government policing the culture.
They have
free
18
means the government
haircuts?
doesn't police the culture.
Seems high.
Yeah, you have to choose from a preset
from photos I've seen, they have like 2. But anyways, go on.
And it might be less than 18. I think it might be like 9 for each gender. But anyways, society means that there is a culture, there is a common culture, and there is unity. And so a free society the culture must be policed by the people, which means bullying freaks.
Hey, I don't know if you saw me say this. I probably said this like a month ago on Boyscast, where essentially I said that is like maybe the biggest problem with quote unquote newcomers is that like bullying was this mechanism, like when you were a kid, where like, you know, you'd come to school and you'd bring like your weird food that smelled weird and looked weird, and everybody would bully you, and you would just assimilate because you're like, this isn't worth the fucking smoke. Right? You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't need to deal with this shit. I'm just going to eat bologna sandwiches and get along with everybody. But they banned that. Like, I totally agree with you. Like bullying, actually, they got rid of bullying, but bullying.
No,
like
they didn't. They didn't get rid of bullying. Bullying is alive and well. It's just exclusive to the left. The left has been policing culture
Fair enough. Actually, that's
very harshly.
That's well said.
Yeah, they bully just fine. We need to take back bullying. We need to make bullying great again. Forgot what my next point was. Right. In America, you are free to be as big of a freak as you want to be. If you want to chop off your nose and chop off your ears and implant horns on your face and tattoo your eyeballs, no one is stopping you to do that. But you must bear the burden of being a freak, right? You're never going to be someone's lawyer. You're never going to be someone's doctor. Good luck working at fucking McDonald's if that's what you choose to do, right? Yes. And that is the way that it must be. However, in America, we have chosen to elevate the freaks. We have chosen to worship the freaks. We praise them and we encourage more people to become freaks. And I'm referring specifically to the trannies, but also in general, right? And we now have a society where you can walk into your doctor's office and see a dude with hairy fucking tits standing there, and you're not allowed to say anything other than how brave and beautiful they are. And just to highlight how absolutely insane this is, again, the trannies are the human embodiment of the most radical and extreme left-wing ideology. They are the left manifested in human form.
They're almost like the mascot.
What they have, yes, kind of. What they have managed to do to our society, they have pushed us so unbelievably, so far radically left, right? It is the equivalent of walking into your doctor's office and seeing literally Hitler, a dude dressed up in the full fucking uniform with the mustache, with the hair, with all of it, the accent, and you are only allowed to tell Dr. Hitler how brave and beautiful they are. That is the right-wing equivalent of what the left wing has done. We have gone beyond insanity, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that some of the people listening last week, because they go, oh, Goob, you're so unhinged, you're so extreme. And it's like, I'm absolutely not. What I'm suggesting is quite literally the very least amount of action that can be taken that will still yield results. And again, the left is not going to get less crazy unless they are stopped, and it is up to us to stop them. The violence will get worse. The violence will reach unimaginable levels if they are not stopped. So what I am suggesting reduces the overall amount of violence, just to be clear. But also, you know, I said they all want you dead. Right? I said that the majority of blacks, the majority of Muslims, the majority of Jews, the majority of Democrats, leftists, commies, whatever you want to call them, all of those groups, the majority wants you dead. And I'm sure there's someone in the audience sitting there. It absolutely is true. And I'm sure there's someone sitting there going like, I sit next to a black Democrat every day and they haven't, you know, killed me yet. I want $1 million. I haven't gone out and robbed a bank though, right? These people do want you dead. I'd be happy as hell if I got $1 million, just like they'd be happy as hell when you die and when your children die. That doesn't mean that they're going to do it themselves, but anytime they have a position of power or influence or any ability to shift things in the direction of you and your children being dead, they will take that. And that is what they've been doing consistently for the last 20 years.
Interesting.
This is all just a very simple principle of following things to their logical conclusion, right? This is why 19 years ago, when I was 13, I understood that political correctness, because woke didn't even exist back then, that political correctness and telling people that they can't say retard would lead to this, would lead
You're
to
a very wise 13-year-old.
Yes, I was, Danny.
Yeah.
And it's just because I'm, you know, we're all on a path, right? And everyone's looking at their feet, looking at the next step. And I'm looking at, where does this end? If we follow this path to its conclusion, where do we end? And the obvious answer to the woke and political correctness is that we end up here with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the celebration of it, right? And in similar ways, right, if the people on the right are not willing to wake up now and follow what I am suggesting, which again is far removed from extreme as possibly could be, I am suggesting that you be unyieldingly patriotic, overwhelm them with a visible presence of patriotism at all times. Wear your flag, fly your flag, go buy your neighbor's flags, okay? The second thing is that we need to be unafraid to speak. Now I'm going to contradict myself because I'm not going to say crazy things in this episode because I don't want to be banned.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
You heard me last week, right? Do not be afraid to speak the truth. Call your friends N-word, R-word, F-words, okay?
Maybe all at once. Maybe all three at the same time.
That's exactly what I'm suggesting, actually. But again, the logical conclusion of letting the whiniest and weakest amongst us wield tyrannical power to control us through shame is that the country will be destroyed. We must stop caring about these labels. And again, Charlie Kirk had over 4,000 hours of footage of him mostly interacting with people who hate him and who want him dead, who repeatedly physically tried to attack him, right? And there's not a single clip of him responding in anger or hatred to a single one of these people. He met every single one of them with love, compassion, understanding, and telling them the truth. If such a clip existed, it would be getting endlessly replayed on repeat on mainstream media, on social media, everywhere. It simply does not exist. So that is the man that they killed for being a Nazi, the most Christ-like figure of our age. And they celebrated his death and called for the deaths of his children. There is no keeping your head down here. There is no avoiding this. This will come for all of us unless we stand up now and fight back, right? And we must stand up now and fight back because, again, following logical conclusions, if after COVID, ELM, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the stolen 2020 election, if all of that is not enough to get you to wake up when they are openly telling you to your face that they want you dead, if that is not enough for you to stop being afraid of these labels and just starting to tell the truth and confronting these demons when they spew their evilness and lies, then you never, ever will.
Now,
there will be nothing that will ever wake you up. And we are dangerously close to the point. The UK is already past the point of no return, right? The only way the UK becomes the UK again is through massive violent civil unrest. It's through a civil war, right? That is the only way the UK comes back to the UK. We still have a chance to bring sanity back to America, but it is right now. It must be done now, or else it will never happen, and we will be like the UK, and then we'll be worse than the UK in very short order.
Yeah. Would you be willing to accept any sort of off-ramp to like kind of cool everybody down? Or is this only like a... Because I was reading this, so someone tagged me in this.
What I'm suggesting will cool things down.
Yeah.
Confronting trannies in the street and beating them to a pulp will let me explain. It absolutely will. Let me explain. Again, the left is only going to get it absolutely will. Let me explain. And my full video explains it in more detail, right?
Okay.
But the left is only going to get worse. They're only going to get more violent unless they are stopped. They're not going to be stopped by the government. So that means we must stop them. Right? So unless you want the violence to get worse, there needs to be pushback against the left. Now, we all understand that the left is inherently violent. As soon as they are confronted, they turn to violence. It is what they do consistently and constantly. So violence is unavoidable. There is no scenario in any world in which violence just doesn't happen. Yeah. Right? Violence is going to happen. It's about reducing the amount of violence. Okay. And so you reduce the amount of violence by pushing back against the left. You have to stop them. And there is, right, when BLM burnt down the country, it had so much support from normies because to the average American, right, the average American is not planting trees under whose shade they will never sit. They are not trying to build a better future for their grandchildren. They can't even build a better future for themselves. It's why the majority of them are obese, right? The majority of Americans, their main concern, their only concern is getting home from work without getting punched in the face or yelled at. And they understand, everyone, even the most brainwashed and dumbest amongst us, can understand that the tranny is completely willing to punch you in the face and yell at you. And so they understand that in that moment, right? Because obviously encouraging this, it will only get worse. Things get less safe for all of us, but they're not thinking like that. They are just thinking, how do I get home from work? So they understand that it is safer to stand next to the tranny and yell at the person who is speaking truth, saying God loves you, or that men can't be women, or just wearing an American flag on their person, because they understand that the right is not violent. There are thousands of videos of street preachers, of people wearing MAGA hats, of people, doing Change My Mind, getting attacked by these people. And what is the response from the right every single time? It is to do the very least that they can to defend themselves. They never match the violence that they are met with themselves, and they almost never even press charges. They never give any reason or lesson to these people to never do this again. And more so than that, again, the average person who is watching that is absolutely retarded, and what they see is they see someone saying something and someone so upset that they are willing to attack them in public. This is righteous fury. It must be righteous fury, because why else would they be so upset to attack it? Similarly with BLM, when the country burned, so many people supported it because they go, wow, George Floyd's death truly must have been the worst thing ever. Why else would they burn down the country? I know that sounds retarded, but most people are retarded. And then when the right refuses to defend themselves, it only further validates the idea that they truly are evil, and they even know they're evil. That's why they don't defend themselves. And then, of course, this is all reinforced by the leftist media and everything else. But so to gain back,
I gotta let you go, but just to put a pin in it, the right's got to fight back. Essentially, no more doormats. Although I don't see that cooling things absolutely down. But I could see what you're saying.
Check out my video for the full explanation.
Check it out, everybody, on the Goob's channel. What
absolutely must be done or the country will be lost.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Goob. What's up, Goob?
Yeah, I did make a third video. It's not my most recent video, but it's the last one I'm putting out on it. And
what's it called? Punching trannies?
It's How to Save America with the Goob. But I would love to do a full episode and have a full conversation, because legitimately everything I'm saying is not only common sense, it's common sense that we teach to children. Like, these are the same lessons that you teach to children who are dealing with bullies in schools and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it sounds horrible because we've all been so inundated with propaganda our entire lives. You know, it's like saying a man is a man, you're a genocider, you're trying to genocide. It's like our whole perspective is so fucked that what I'm saying sounds extreme. It sounds horrible. It's legitimately not. And it's because I'm trying to fit, this into little 10-minute sound bites, but sure. I would love to have a full conversation.
Yeah, we will.
The psychology, group psychology, and all of that, and how this works, because what I'm suggesting is literally the only thing that can turn America around. The government cannot change the culture, which is a point I've already made, but no matter how hard the government cracks down on Antifa, it's not going to de-radicalize them. It's not going to change their mindset.
No.
If anything, it only gives them the actual boogeyman to fight against. The only thing that will de-radicalize the people in the culture are the people, are us, right? And, think about when you were in school. Did you ever witness a time where someone who's really popular had a massive fall from grace, or vice versa? Like the loser kid had this moment of ultimate redemption. It's like people are fickle. They can have their minds change incredibly quickly. We can right the course of the country incredibly quickly, and it doesn't take that much, but it does take standing up to the bullies, which is an uncomfortable thing. But
sure.
When you have a bully in a school that's running wild and the school won't do anything about it, you don't just keep giving your lunch money over and telling them O'Doyle rules. You stand up to the bully, and then when the bully gets violent, you get more violent back. That's how you end this.
But now,
and that's literally the entire message that I'm delivering.
Circling back, is your platform still just fighting transgenders in the street?
No. So let me clarify the tranny thing, right? In our first conversation, we highlighted that I'm referring mostly to the most disgusting, troonish of them all. In fact, replace the word tranny with troon every time I've used it on this show, and it should make more sense, right? And it's not even that, again, every demon must be confronted, every bully or every freak must be bullied, and this must happen everywhere at all times. But that's a massive ask, and depending on where you live, that's literally a full-time job. So you have to use the 80-20 rule, right? You get 80% of your results from 20% of your effort. So who do you focus on first? And it's like, if you see some dude wearing an Antifa shirt and he's just walking down the street all alone, by all means, please go fuck with that guy. But it's the people who are easily identified, and the people who genuinely pose a risk and a threat to society, and the people who will provide the most return for your efforts are the troons.
But when you say, hold on, let me just sorry to cut you off. When you say go fuck with them, what do you mean?
Literally, just call a man. You can.
Oh, okay.
It can be anything, and that's the thing. It's that's
you could just be very passive aggressive.
Find your comfort level.
You'd be top of the morning to you, sir.
And yes, just keep find your comfort level. If that's where you're comfortable, in your bullying is saying top of the morning to you, sir, that's a massive step in the right direction. That's way better than going, oh, you're a brave and beautiful woman, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, for the people who are more hardcore, sure, they can go and walk up to them and be like, you're a disgusting fucking freak, get off our streets. I would encourage that too, but like most people aren't going to be comfortable doing that, right?
Yeah.
It's not un-American. It's literally the most American thing you can do. It's literally restoring America because, the big titty woodshop teacher, right? Like when I was talking about Dr. Hitler, I think people are probably like, that's a crazy comparison. Is it really crazy to compare big titty woodshop teacher to Dr. Hitler?
Who's Dr. Hitler?
And we're seeing, when I was talking about how the troons in workplaces are the left-wing equivalent of if we had Dr. Hitler, if we had a guy dressed up as Hitler who's your doctor.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so, like, I don't know if you've encountered, like, a genuine troon in the workforce. I have.
I do stand-up comedy.
Well, that's a little bit different. That's not quite the workforce. But, like, I've walked into a hairdresser shop where there was a 100% troon working there, had like fucking crypt keeper hair, had the lipstick outside the lips. And then not only were the clothes ill-fitting, but the boots they had on didn't fit to the point that one of their boots, the sole of the boot was straight up parallel to the ground, and they were just walking in the ankle of their boots. And they're walking around this shop as a fucking hairdresser, and everyone's sitting in there as if this is normal. And it's like, I would never in a million fucking years let that freak touch me, especially not with scissors around my face and neck. Like, what happens when you call him a dude? He's going to stab you in the fucking jugular.
Probably.
And it's literally like, it's literally, the damage that does to people's psyche to be exposed to that shit, the effect that has on people's mentality and like what's normal in this world. It's ridiculous. And that kind of shit genuinely cannot be allowed. And if that person was an actual woman, it wouldn't be allowed. If you walked in and a woman looked like that, a hairdresser who was an actual woman was that disheveled and like,
yeah, they'd send them home. They go, you're having a bad day.
Yeah, you'd go, what the fuck are you doing in there? Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck are you, but because it's a troon, everyone sits there quietly and goes along with it. And so, yes, the troons must be dealt with. Every freak must be dealt with. Every demon must be dealt with.
What do you classify as freak?
Are you a freak? Are you normal or are you a freak? Do you have 6 different colors in your hair and piercings in your nose?
I mean, right, Comic-Con just happened like
the most freaky.
So what are you going and fucking
the freakiest of the freaks first,
jailing everybody at Comic-Con,
and then you work your way up? There's different degrees of freak, and there's different levels of harm of freak, right? The troons are, again, they are inherently violent. Like the troons are who I'm referring to becoming violent at the drop of a hat. They are also sexual predators. Like I don't like distinguishing between quote unquote legitimate trannies and troons because I don't think any tranny is legitimate. But there's obviously a very stark difference between the people who are indulging their sexual fetishes and forcing everyone around them to indulge them as well, and people who are confused about their gender either through brainwashing or chemical imbalances.
Sorry to cut you off. Did you see in Canada, somewhere in Ontario, actually, there was a high school volleyball game, or maybe it was a community college volleyball game, and there were 5 transgender women on the court playing. In one game, there was 3 on one team and 2 on the other, and it's like, everybody's like, yeah, these are like isolated incidents. He goes, it's like half the players on the fucking court.
That's literally half the players on a volleyball court. Yeah.
It was pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's only going to get worse. That's only going to continue escalating unless we, the people, stop it. We are the ones who control our culture. Yes, the media influences, the government has a bit of an influence, but it is the people. It is the people who control the culture. And the right has just put their head down and stayed silent for so long and tried to acquiesce and give in. And like, again, go back to what we teach children. That only makes the bullying worse. And that's exactly what we've seen. If we want people to come back to sanity, we must make bullying great again. And that's the only thing that can save the country. It doesn't matter how tyrannical the government gets. They will not fix the culture. They will not fix the insanity. The only thing that can fix it is we, the people. And there's no one, literally no one, who shouldn't be taking action. Like, even if your comfort level is, oh, I would never ever say anything to a tranny, fine. Even if your comfort level is, I would never even fly an American flag on my house, fine. Go walk around your neighborhood and knock on the doors of the houses that are flying American flags and shake their hand and thank them for their bravery and become friends with them. Maybe their bravery will rub off on you, right? But like, at least be a cheerleader. You know, you see someone walking down the street with a MAGA hat, thank them. Be like, dude, I appreciate what you're doing. I don't have the bravery to do it myself, but I appreciate you. You know, there's literally no reason for anyone to not be taking action in this culture war. And maybe that action is insignificant and it's just cheerleading other people, but like, you can do something, and that helps. That like these little things are far more effective and powerful than people realize. People aren't like psychoanalyzing their entire day like I do, you know, and everyone around them. But like, these little things are very, very powerful. And it's those little things, they have a snowball effect as well. Like, once momentum starts, again, think back in your schooling. I'm sure there was an experience.
There was a snowball element to
who was like super popular, who falls from grace, or someone who's super loser who has this massive moment of redemption. People are fickle. It can change very quickly and easily.
No, my school was like an Indian caste system. It's just like where you were was where you'll die.
Well, most people are familiar with what I'm describing.
I know. I mean, obviously the snowball thing is like, that is kind of what happened with the whole trans people getting their come up in the last decade. I'm not really sure. Like,
and you just have to say no. Just don't tolerate it, and it stops. It's that easy.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
problem
it's
is it's infiltrated such high levels of like definitely corporations and whatnot. Where I like personally, I think the best kind of thing you can hope for at this point is you're like, we're gonna like get some ground back. They'll still be ahead of where they were 10 years ago, but they cannot be as far as they were 3 years ago, which they already are like kind of giving background. And, you know, it was one of these issues.
Well, that's the thing is, once you start the ball rolling, it wants to keep rolling. So I actually believe we can claw it all back.
But what are you talking about? Like, you're talking about like conversion therapy, like forced conversion therapy? Like, these people do exist.
No.
Like, I remember when I was
I'm talking about making it, I'm just talking about shame, right? So think about the 90s. You were allowed to be gay in the 90s. No one was like, I mean, yes, there were some conversion therapies going on, but like, generally speaking, that wasn't really a big thing. It was, but if you saw two dudes kissing on a sidewalk, they'd probably get fucking heckled.
Yeah.
You know? Right? We need to get back to that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But
do we go so far? Do we go so far as heckling interracial couples?
Sure, if you want to.
That's a lot.
If that's what you want to do. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is we live in a society, and you have to decide. You're like, how contentious of a society do you want to live in? Do you want to live in? Now, obviously, I understand your point where they're like, well, we kind of did leave them alone, and then they kind of like, it's like you give them a hand,
right,
foot, and they take a mile.
So go back to the example with the bully in the school. It's like giving in and acquiescing to that bully doesn't actually lower the contention. It only increases the bullying. It only makes things worse. So the way to lower the temperature and the way to stop the violence and the way to de-radicalize people, ironically, is to, you know, to push back against them. I know that sounds counterintuitive.
I mean, it's not. That's literally what they did.
It's literally common sense.
But that's what they did.
Common sense that we teach to children.
Like,
yes, exactly.
They
and
saw
that's what
you
we must do. They've dominated the power dynamics.
Yeah, like they saw you or your type as the bully, and they go, "Yeah, we've laid down for long enough. Now we're actually going to fight back." The crazy thing is how successful they were. But they did do that.
Yes, so 100%. And so now it is our turn to do that. And if we don't, then the country will be lost.
Then we're all going to be
that simple.
Gay. Okay.
Yes, Danny.
I don't want to be gay.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Later, Goob.
Peace.
It's Goob, everybody.